welcome to the kitchen. I'm Angela, and this is part 3 of my canning marathon day. Yes, it's a canning marathon. So if you've not seen parts 1 and 2, go check those out. We canned corn relish and my absolute favorite, candied jalapenos. And now we're moving on to pineapple. If you did not see my Azure haul, Azure Standard, if you don't know what that is even, go check out that video. This is where I got my pineapple from. I did all of the prep work as best as I could the day before my big major canning marathon day. I prepped as much as I either had time for or energy for, and I prepped what I had space for in my fridge. And so I went ahead and sliced up just into the long strips like this of pineapple. And actually, it's funny because as I'm doing this, I was like, wow, I don't think I'm gonna get very many jars. And I think I am. I think I'm gonna get more jars than I realized. But in any event, this is 8 pineapples that I have here. And I am going to give it a good rinse because as I was chopping, of course, the outside of that pineapple was on my chopping board and there's just the little particles. So I'm gonna give this a quick wash and then we'll talk about how we're gonna do this. Okay, all washed, ready to go. You really don't want any particles on the outside of your pineapple. I'm sure it won't taste very good and it will look a little unsightly probably. I'm going to get a knife and get these cubed up. Now you can pineapple in this shape. You can cube it up like I'm going to. You could do rings. You would want to do a wide mouth jar if you're going to do that. The way we basically use pineapple here in my house is to eat it in chunk form, or I'm going to crush it up for a recipe. So I don't need to be super fancy dancy with it. But you want to get your jars filled. Now, there's a couple ways you could do this. You could also do crushed pineapple if you wish. Cubed pineapples basically serves the purpose in whichever way I'm going to utilize it. So this way I can cube it and eat it nice and fresh out of the jar, or I could still then crush it up. So if I did all crushed, then I couldn't eat it cubed. Okay, so basically keeping in mind that I'm going to want to have my 1-inch head space. You don't really want to pack your pineapple into your jars. So you could do this in a syrup. I don't know that that's necessary in my opinion. I've never done it in a syrup. I've only ever done it in water. So that's up to you, it's how your family likes to have your pineapple. You could do it in pineapple juice as well. Again, don't know if I find that necessary because as it goes through the canning process, it kind of creates its own pineapple juice to some degree. It's not super concentrated, of course, but kind of give it a good little shake to get some of those big, large voids filled with pineapple so you can hopefully get as much in there as possible. There we go. It's really that simple. This is something that you could come in after work and do. It's a very quick, easy process. Processing time in the water bath canner is only 15 minutes. Check your elevation though, you may need to add time. Especially if you do everything the day before. If you've got older children who you can trust getting it sliced up for you, even better. Many hands make light work, as they say. You do not have to do a hot pack method as far as I know. I've only ever done it this way. I don't heat it up. Now, if you don't heat up the pineapple in a syrup or water, you might have your pineapple floating in your jars. That's pretty common with anything that we cold pack, whether it's fruit or vegetables. Again, that doesn't bother me. But just so you kind of know what to expect and you're not surprised by that. I almost wasn't even going to do a video on this because I just feel like it's so simple that, you know, it's almost not even necessary. But, you know, there might be some people who have never done pineapple, might be very new to canning, and would like to see the process done. So it's a quick little video, but you know, this way you can see the process. I'm covering my jars, can't even see what I'm doing. So if you were gonna keep them in long spears like that, you could, and you just kind of circle the jar and fill one in the middle. Maybe I'll try doing one. They can for the same amount of time. Let's see what that looks like. I've never done it. There we go. That's pretty. I'll do a couple. I feel like it gets the job done quicker. It's a canning marathon day after all. The quicker we can get things done, the better. Definitely works better in the wide mouth jars. No surprise there. Do one more this way. There we go. All right, and do one more cubed up. Okay, so I probably could have filled another 3 to 4 jars. We'll see what I'm left with jar wise. I am kind of running low on pints, but if we have to snack on this the way it is, no one here is going to complain. So I'll get that set aside. Nine jars on my shelf is a really great start. Pineapple, something that I could do all throughout the year. I don't necessarily need to do it during the busy time of the harvest year, but it is such a quick and easy water bath canning project that I didn't mind tacking it on to a day where I'm already water bathing. So we're gonna get this filled with just plain water, 1 inch headspace, and I will go and debubble. Once I debubble, sometimes that makes additional room in the jar, and then I can cube up and add just a couple, you know, here and there if need be. Okay, let's get our rims wiped, which is not messy at all. Might have a little bit of a pineapple particle, which is basically what we're checking for. So, all right, now here's what you would typically do. You would get these loaded straight into your canner, and since it's room temperature, the canner with the jars in there would all come up to up to temperature together to boil. I don't have a canner that's free just yet, so this will be something I do at the end. Whenever I have a canner free, I can empty, wash, refill, and get it processed. I will certainly bring you back when that happens, but you're not going to see me do it immediately like you normally would in my videos. There usually isn't an edit in between, but there will be today because it's a very big processing day. But I'm going to get my rings on. I don't remember where I put them. And get my lids and my rings on. So this is a neat little hack. This is a what would normally hold a paper towel roll. I got it from the Dollar Tree. I had 2. I don't know what happened to my second one. So I usually have one for my regular bands and one for my wide mouth bands. I don't know what happened to the second one. I often wonder what happens to things in this house. So we're gonna get these fixed on. I suppose I could just run up and grab another one. They're not expensive, right? And then that's what I do for canning day anyhow. When I'm not canning, I store them on bungee cords in my pantry. Just made a mess. Now, my water is not hot or anything, so I don't need to worry about the temperature doing anything to the button on my lid. It's not gonna wanna falsely seal or anything, so you don't need to worry about that. If that ever does happen before you put it in the canner, I always open and kind of pop it back up. I don't know if that's a necessary step or not. It just makes me feel better because I'm not doing this to waste time, that's for sure. I want to make sure everything seals, and I don't want any, you know, I don't want to find out after the fact that that's probably what it was, so I don't want to learn the hard way. So I just do that. If you know, let me know. Let me know down in the comments if you know whether or not that's a necessary step or not. Okay, so these are gonna go off into the waiting zone. They're gonna be on deck for the next time I have a canner free, but that's basically what you do for pineapple. Very simple, very easy. Again, you can have your kids helping. You can do all the prep the day before, come home from work, and in 10, 15 minutes, have your jars filled and in the canner. Easy peasy. Okay, I am getting these pineapples into the water bath canner, cold water. Uh-oh. Can I make this one fit? I have a mix of wide mouth and regular mouth jars in here, and the wide mouth takes up more space, so I can't fit as many jars as I normally do. You're just gonna have to wait your turn. Once this comes to a boil, I'll set a timer. The processing time is 15 minutes. My elevation will be 20 minutes. And I'll bring you back once I take them out of the jar, out of the canner, and I'll show you how beautiful they are. I don't know what happened to the ending of the pineapple video. I went to go edit it and it doesn't show me taking the pineapple out or discussing the cost. So we're revisiting. I got 12 pints out of 8 pineapples. All of my jars sealed. They look fantastic. I'm excited to have these on my shelf. So let's do the cost comparison. 8 pineapples from Azure, the entire case, I spent $4.13 per pineapple. Organic, sustainably grown, all of those good things. I'll be honest with you, when it comes to organic, sometimes it can just be a label. And pineapple is one of the ones that I don't even think it's on the Dirty Dozen list. I'd have to double check actually. But because it has that exterior, wash the outside really well, and you're cutting into it, so it doesn't ever really have to be organic for me. That was quite a bit of a cost for me. I don't generally spend that kind of money on a pineapple. So, all right, so what did we discover? Oh, I'm sorry, that was wrong. It was $6 per pineapple. Even more of a cost breakdown I generally would not do. So comparing apples to apples, I had to go online to find an organic jar of pineapple. I mean, I can go into any store and find the cost of canned pineapple any day, but it's not apples to apples. I had to find an organic pineapple. And I found on Amazon is it 365, I'm not sure how you would say the brand, but I know I've seen that brand at Whole Foods. So same size would be $3.19 per can. The breakdown for my pineapple is $4.13 per jar. So roughly $1 difference per jar. I spent more canning it myself. I guess at the end of the day, you'll have to decide if doing it yourself brings you more peace of mind, if reusing your jars adds into that equation for you. Because when I empty this jar, I'm gonna reuse it for something else. When I empty the can of the pineapple that I would get from Whole Foods, it's gonna go into the trash, into the landfill. So it depends on how you look at it. It depends on what's important to you. I will say I'm not gonna go Azure route again with pineapple. I did that just for funsies, I guess. I had Azure cash to spend, if you will, and so I tacked the pineapple onto that order. I could have used it just over the order, but you know, girl math, I guess. So that's it with the pineapple. I will say I could do the math and figure out how much it cost at Aldi. So if I searched pineapple on Aldi's website, $1.99 for a pineapple. Isn't that so expensive? I'm telling you, it's been a couple years since I've purchased a fresh pineapple, I guess, because I know I've never spent more than 69 or 79 cents on a pineapple, I feel like. So $1.99 times 8 would be $15.92, because that's how many pineapples I got from Azure. Now divide that by the 12 jars I got, and it would cost $1.32 per jar. So I'm saving 60 cents doing it myself. So either way, you know, it's one of those that you just kind of have to decide. Sometimes when you can things yourself, the benefit alone of just knowing that you handled that food, you packed it into the jar, it didn't go into several other hands prior to you then consuming it. Sometimes that's just enough for people. There are some things that I know for a fact, there are some things that are cheaper just to go buy, but there are some individuals who they feel it's still worth it because the quality of what they're getting in the long run is better. So do with that as you may. Before I go and do anything with my pineapple again, unless I find a really good deal, I might have to really sit and consider what I'm going to decide to do. Doesn't happen very often with a lot of the stuff that I can, but yeah, pineapple's one of those. I might just go, you know what? Let me take the burden off of me. One less thing I have to do. If ever there was an issue with sourcing pineapple already canned, I know I can do it myself if I have to. So, all right, but that's it. I hope I see you again in my kitchen, prepping my pantry for the winter, or preparing a meal for my family from the pantry.